Old Story by Ian Riddle. We gather today in the presence of the old story of death defeated by emptiness, of hope and newness triumphant over fear and separation. We come, some of us, with hearts heavy with pain or anxiety, spirits flattened by exhaustion and apathy, vision darkened by strife and violence. We come, all of us, seeking connection and love in this place of community. May the old Easter story of hope and rebirth lighten our hearts and make every one of us glad in the presence of each other. May our spirits be joyful as we worship here together this morning. I am Reverend Erich Moraine Roshi. I'm the affiliated community minister here at LCUUC. I'm not ordained as a UU minister, but I am ordained in a Zen Buddhist lineage, which is why I'm kind of dressed a little differently. So welcome to the season of spring festivals. Welcome to Ramadan, which ended on March 29th, a time to get closer to your Creator and cultivate spiritual growth. Welcome to the spring equinox, which was March 21st, a time to celebrate balance, abundance, and fertility. Welcome to the goddess Estra and her celebrations of fertility. The Christian celebration of the resurrection of Jesus is actually named in her honor. Our word Easter comes from her name, Estra. She's also the reason rabbits and eggs, as symbol of fertility, are part of our contemporary Easter celebration. Welcome also to the last day of Passover, a time to celebrate life and freedom and social justice. Welcome also to the Maypole and Beltane, a ceremony which historians believe originated with the Romans in what is Germany today. The Maypole dance was traditionally performed to curry favor from the goddesses and gods in the hope that they would grant abundance and fertility. Beltane involved a lot of drinking, sporting competitions, poetry, singing, and maybe my favorite, driving a herd of cattle between two bonfires to bless them as they were moved on to their summer pastures. I tried, but the Buildings and Grounds Committee wasn't too excited about running cattle around the property, so we had to settle for something a little tamer. The maypole ribbons and dancers symbolize masculine and feminine energies intertwining to invoke a bountiful growing season and abundant fall harvest. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, children, for making this dance happen, and may it bring us the financial abundance we seek as we finalize our budget for the coming year. And, of course, welcome to Easter, which is celebrated every year on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. And this year, that would happen to be today, April 20th. There's actually another celebration that happens on April 20th. And no, it's not Go Fly a Kite Day, which is on 4/20, but for some people it does involve getting high as a kite. Started in 1971 by some high schoolers in California, it's become kind of an unofficial holiday to celebrate the wildwood weed and the joy it brings to those who partake. In Illinois or Michigan or Minnesota, we do not partake here in Wisconsin. It is not legal here. Don't smoke it here. If you need to smoke in Wisconsin, smoke some ribs or some chicken or maybe tofu. And welcome again to this place and this space, this time together to explore celebration. According to the Weather Service, we've made it through the darkness and dread of winter. But according to the news service, our political winter may just be beginning. I recently heard someone say the last 3 months have been the longest 10 years of my life. And I am concerned this will likely get a lot worse before it gets better. Traditionally, April and May have been a time of positivity and uplifted spirits. And even though it may be harder to feel joy this spring, it is still the time of year for baby chicks and Easter baskets and Virginia hams and kite festivals. And back in my day, we did Easter right. We didn't hide no stinking plastic eggs, by gosh. We hid real hard-boiled eggs, and we liked it. Well, except when the parents started whispering back and forth, what about the one under the stove? Did they find the ones in the bookshelf? We're still a couple short. Do you know how bad a hard-boiled Easter egg stinks after it's spent the summer in the couch cushions? Maybe plastic eggs aren't so bad an idea after all. This is a somewhat complex season of celebrations, stitched together from many different cultures, from many religious traditions, and even in these challenging political times, I think it is still good to take a moment and pause and celebrate in some way this one precious life that we have. I'm going to have a hard time getting through this. What unites these celebrations is the death-defying act of holding on to hope in the face of adversity. Celebrate life, not because it makes logical sense, but because life is precious. Personally, I believe we have only one lifetime, one go-around, and then you're gone. I don't personally believe in an afterlife or a glorious rebirth into the clouds. I also respectfully choose to disagree with those who believe that this life ends with a repeat sign, that you get lathered, rinsed, and repeated and are reincarnated for another go-around. Zen teachings say that personality and ego do not persist. When you're done, you're done. And regardless of what you believe happens after you die, I think it's worth celebrating life while you're alive. Cherish the few fleeting moments we have together, even if some are difficult or maybe not to your liking. They are precious nonetheless. To life, l'chaim. We choose to celebrate and hold hope for a brighter tomorrow, hope for a good growing season, hope for a more gracious and kind governance of the people, and with a little bit of luck, a more peaceful and pleasant future for all of us. Life is tenacious. Life is persistent. Life is resilient. From the fumaroles at the bottom of the ocean trenches to the iciest patches of snow on the Himalayan peaks, life seems to exist everywhere we've looked for it. There's this movie. It's kind of older now, but you've probably at least heard of it, Fiddler on the Roof, right? It's a story where that message of l'chaim, to life, is central to the story. Tevye, the family patriarch, the one who danced on the rooftop, had an outlook on life that amazes me. And even though those jackbooted imperialist Russians pushed his family and his people out of their Romanian homeland, he nonetheless took time out of his very real troubles to celebrate his one precious life. Amidst the tragedy that was unfolding, he did not give up hope for the future. He danced on the rooftop, singing, l'chaim, l'chaim, to life. To life, to life, l'chaim, 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 to life. Life is a way of confusing us, blessing and bruising us. May all your futures be pleasant ones, not like our present ones. Drink, l'chaim, to life. Maybe what Tevye knows is what Buddhists also know. All of this is temporary. We are just passing through. The current bad fortune is also temporary because everything changes. Everything passes. The unfortunate, great sadness is that once it's past, it won't look the same as it did before. And, truth be told, not all of us are going to make it. Last weekend, I was at a retreat with Lama Rod Owens, a Tibetan-trained Harvard Divinity School graduate and a Buddhist priest. He grew up in the activist movements of Atlanta and has written a number of rather intriguing books. And during the retreat, he mentioned this. Not all of us are going to make it. I'm still kind of struggling and reflecting on the consequences of that. Lama Rod is quite an interesting guy. You might want to check him out at lamarod.com. Like him, many of us feel obligated to do what we can to prevent these tragic, unpleasant things from unfolding, to keep safe those that are being threatened, to give shelter to those that are in need. And regardless of whether it's today's domestically grown fascists or the 1900s Russian imperialists, it seems that once again, they're coming for us. They're coming for a lot of us. And things don't actually look so good right now. This morning, I want to recognize the duality of what is unfolding, as Howard Zinn mentioned in that reading, the tragedy and the hope. And notice those who are threatened, and notice the structures that are in peril, political, institutional, or physical. But at the same time, notice that life persists, and notice that resistance has already begun. We are not yet 100 days in, and we are already mobilizing. The phone calls, Lynn Smith, she's not here this morning. The rallies, Jerry Flakus is also not here this morning. The postcards, Phil Smith. The newsletter, Kathy Peterson. Teaching us how to safely march in the streets, Tracy. Where is she? Learning how to respond to ICE when they come knocking, Rose Prosser. Learning how to have difficult conversations, Mike McNett. There are likely a lot more folks here this morning that are resisting, that are teaching the rest of us how to resist. There is pushback to what's happening in Washington, and I raise my glass to honor those efforts and to your work. Life is persistent. Life resists. L'chaim. I've been a member of this church community for several decades. During that time, ministers have come and gone, members have come and gone, but on the whole, we have survived. Going forward, some will join and some will leave. Maybe because of a new job or a fatal medical diagnosis or a difference of opinions. Not all of us are going to be here in the future. Not all of us are going to make it. And so this morning, I raise a glass to honor those that are here and wish you well on what your future holds for you right now. L'chaim. What Tevye did is what Buddhists do. Practice great faith, put forth great effort, and stay detached from the outcome. And oh yeah, one more thing. Celebrate when you have the chance. So there was once this Buddhist monk who happened to be walking through the forest. It's a true story. They're all true stories. And this tiger sprung out of the bushes, and the monk started running like crazy to get away. Unfortunately, they got to the edge of a big cliff and couldn't keep running. They had nowhere else to go. So grabbing some vines, they swung themselves over the edge, and they kind of fell partway down the cliff, out of reach of the tiger. Safe, I guess? And there they were, dangling among the roots and the falling dirt, and glancing down, the monk looked down and saw, another tiger staring up and waiting, maybe even grinning. Oh, look, carry-out dinner is about to be delivered. The monk, caught between the tiger above and the tiger below, kind of stared at their predicament, the roots, the vines, the dirt, the rocks, the tigers, and there was no obvious escape route, but they did notice a strawberry plant growing, also having partly fallen off the cliff with a ripe strawberry. So what do you think the monk did? What do you think the monk did? Did they let go and take their chances with the tiger down below? Or did they try to outweight the tiger up above and crawl back up under cover of darkness? What would you do?
Eat the strawberry.
Yeah, you read ahead. That's right. The monk ate the strawberry. And that, interestingly, that's where the story ends. But you might ask, so what happened to the monk? And in this story, we don't know. Apparently, that was not the important part. The turning phrase, the key message of this story is that in the midst of tragedy and almost certain death, that monk took the moment and celebrated just a tiny bit. The monk ate the strawberry. End of story. Lesson learned. So what can we learn from this today, this morning? No cliffs or tigers here. So how or why is this relevant? Well, what has not changed, what is still relevant, is that life is short. Celebrate when you can. And if you feel so inclined, eat dessert first. That tiny act of compassion, directed inwardly by the monk, from the monk to the monk, did not make a difference to the tigers. After the strawberry was eaten, something else was going to happen. I mean, I know that. You know that for sure. We just don't know exactly what's going to happen. It's up to us to imagine the ending. But in that moment, the monk celebrated what life had to offer, however meager, however fleeting, however unimportant in the greater scheme of things. And I'd suggest that we can do the same. And if we do, our experience of life will change. And in that way, our life will change. And in that way, the world will change. It makes a difference to this one. Life is resilient. Life is persistent. The chicory that grows in the salt-crusted gravel alongside the highway, dandelions in the front lawn, buckthorn in the hedgerow. Dare I even mention the persistence of garlic mustard? My friends, learn to cultivate resilience and resistance. Learn to become resistant. Become a political and spiritual weed. Don't smoke the weed. Become the weed. Become the weed. Cultivate a culture of resilient resistance. Be the creeping Charlie of your neighborhood. Embody the underground persistence of Canada thistle. Become like the dandelions, strong, brave, and unafraid to stand up and be seen, even if you're different. Hold your head high wherever you go, laying claim to our shared values of justice, equity, and compassion for all. Let the world see that empathy is our greatest strength, and not, as someone recently said, our biggest weakness. Don't do this alone. Together we are mighty. So as we leave this room and filter out into the social hall, I'd invite you to raise a glass to life, to persistence and resilience in all of its forms. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. Find someone else who has a cup of coffee or a mug of juice or a glass of tea. Diversity is good. And look that person in the eye and offer them a toast. L'chaim, to life. Blessed be, and may it be so. Our closing words are by David Breeden, Hope Not Nearly There. There is no package called hope, nothing at a shop to look for. Hope won't store like hay in a barn. It is a last leaf on a branch in deep winter. It is a singular thing, firm when it's found. Perhaps a hand reached out, a word that goes to the marrow of the bones. Hope is fine-grained, like a lavender plant gone to seed, gossamer, like a moth's wings. There's no weight called hope. It's a hand, it's a whisper, it's a moment shared. Nearly not there at all, but like a shadow, there all the same. As we extinguish this flame, let us go our ways, knowing not the answers to all things, yet seeking always the answer to one more thing than we now know. Let us be searchers with our fellow humans, adventurers in ways untrod, holding the hope of discovery high within us, and sharing the hope and whatever discovery may come with others. Thank you. Stick around. We've got some fun things to do. Anybody who's interested, meet the Easter Bunny right outside the front doors as soon as the service is done. Parents and children alike. Parents, once the great hunt for, 167 eggs? Is that right? 167. Once they're all found, you can all come on back in, grab some coffee. There will be a social hour in the room with the comfy chairs. Not social hour, I'm sorry, second hour. In the room with the comfy chairs, we'll start about 11:15 or so, and anybody interested, we can talk about the service or the sermon or the afterlife or whatever you like. So have fun. Enjoy the rest of the day.